Have you ever thrown a stone into a calm lake and watched the ripples spread out in all directions? It's a tranquil scene, isn't it? But it's also a powerful metaphor for the impact we have on the world around us every single day. Let's dive a bit deeper into this ripple effect. Imagine, if you will, that each interaction we have, each decision we make is like that stone thrown into the lake. It doesn't matter if it's a small pebble or a hefty rock. As soon as it hits the water, it creates ripples that spread out, reaching far beyond the point of impact. That's how our actions and words work. They're like those ripples, extending beyond our immediate sphere, influencing the world around us in ways we may not even realize. A kind word to a stranger could brighten their day, influencing their interactions with others. A decision to recycle instead of throwing away could contribute to a cleaner planet. But it's not just about the positive ripples. Negative ones exist too. A harsh word can hurt, a thoughtless action can harm, and just like the positive ripples, these spread out too, affecting more than just their immediate target. This ripple effect isn't confined to our personal lives. It extends to our communities, our workplaces, and even to the world at large. Every action, every decision, every word spoken or unspoken sends out ripples. And here's where it gets really interesting. These ripples, they don't exist in isolation. They interact with the ripples from others, creating patterns, influencing events, shaping the world as we know it. So why does this matter? Well, it underscores the importance of how we choose to show up in the world. It highlights that we're not just passive observers, but active participants in shaping our world. Just like the ripples from that stone, every action we take, every word we speak, sends ripples out into the world. And it's up to us to decide what kind of ripples we want to create. In the book, The Fourth Turning, it is suggested that we are nearing a time of chaos that will shape the next several generations. Let's delve a little deeper into this idea. The fourth turning is a concept that builds upon the theory of generational cycles. It proposes that every 80 to 100 years, society undergoes a period of profound transformation, a time of chaos and upheaval that ushers in a new era. Imagine, if you will, the seasons of the year. Spring, a time of growth and renewal, followed by the abundance of summer. Then comes autumn, with its gradual decay, and finally winter, a time of harsh conditions and survival. In the same way, societies move through these cycles, and according to the authors, we are now in the winter phase, the fourth turning. This is a critical time, a watershed moment in history. It's a time of crisis, but also of opportunity. It's a time when the actions of each individual can have far-reaching implications. The decisions we make, the principles we uphold, the way we interact with each other, these are the factors that will define the world for future generations. It's not an overstatement to say that we are writing history with our everyday actions. But remember, winter is not only about survival, it's also a time of preparation, a time to sow the seeds that will blossom in the next spring. If we navigate this fourth turning with wisdom, courage, and integrity, we can usher in a new era of prosperity and peace. But it all starts with us, with how we show up in the world every single day. Our actions, our attitudes, the way we treat others, these are the things that will shape the future. So let's not underestimate our power. Let's not succumb to fear or cynicism. Instead, let's embrace this challenge. Let's be a force for good, for understanding, for unity. Let's be the light that guides us through this winter and into the next spring. Now more than ever, how we choose to show up in the world matters. In the midst of this chaos and uncertainty, we have a choice. A choice that's not about deciding between the red or the blue pill, but about how we decide to show up in the world. Every day, every hour, every minute, and every second, we are given a chance to decide how we want to present ourselves to the world. It's like standing on the edge of a vast ocean, with the power to stir the waters or calm the waves. We can choose to be a storm, wreaking havoc and leaving destruction in our wake, or we can choose to be a beacon of light, guiding lost ships safely to shore. And let me tell you, it's not always easy to be the lighthouse in a world that often feels like a raging storm. But remember, even the smallest light can pierce through the darkest night. It's about standing our ground even when the winds are howling and the seas are churning. It's about being that force for light, even when it feels like we're surrounded by an everlasting darkness. But how do we do this? How do we show up positively and with love? It's more than just plastering a smile on our face and pretending everything is okay. It's about authenticity. It's about being true to ourselves and to others. It's about showing kindness even when it's hard. It's about being brave enough to show compassion in a world that often seems cold and indifferent. We must remember our actions, our words, and even our thoughts have the power to impact those around us. We have the ability to change the world, one interaction at a time. So, let's choose to show up with love. Let's choose to be a force for good. Let's choose to be the light in the darkness. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about surviving the storm. It's about learning to dance in the rain. It's about making the choice to shine, no matter what. The choice is ours, and it's one we make every day. So, what does it mean to show up in the world? That's a question that deserves some serious thought. The way we present ourselves, our actions, our words, they all have an impact. An echo that resonates far beyond our immediate surroundings. Imagine throwing a pebble into a lake. The pebble, small and seemingly insignificant, creates ripples that spread out, reaching the farthest edges of the lake. That's how our actions work. Each small act, each word we utter, each thought we harbor, they're all pebbles creating ripples in the lake of life. Now consider the power of empathy, the strength in understanding and sharing the feelings of others. It's a force that can bridge gaps, mend relationships, and build communities. It's a pebble that creates ripples of unity, compassion, and connection. Think about common decency, the respect and kindness we show towards each other. It's not about grand gestures or heroic deeds, but simple acts of politeness, consideration, and courtesy. These are the pebbles that create ripples of respect, dignity, and harmony. Contemplate the potential of positivity, a positive attitude, a hopeful outlook, a cheerful demeanor. They carry an energy that's both contagious and uplifting. These are the pebbles that create ripples of joy, optimism, and inspiration. But how do we harness these powers? How do we create these ripples? It all comes down to choice. The choice to show up in the world as our best selves, to act with empathy, to treat others with decency, to radiate positivity. Before we act, before we speak, before we think, we need to pause and consider the potential effects of our actions. We need to ask ourselves, what kind of ripples am I creating? What kind of impact am I having on the world? When we choose to show up with love, we can create a ripple effect of positivity that can change the world. Remember, even the smallest pebble can create the biggest ripples. So let's choose to be pebbles of love, empathy, decency, and positivity. Let's choose to show up in the world. This is not just a philosophical musing, but a call to action. We live in a world of constant change, a world that is often marked by chaos, uncertainty, and turmoil. But within this chaos, there is a choice to be a beacon of light, a force of positivity, or a harbinger of darkness. It's not about grand gestures or monumental actions. It's about the little things, the everyday decisions, the way you choose to show up in the world. Remember, every interaction you have, every person you meet, every situation you encounter, you have the power to impact. You have the ability to send out ripples of change, ripples of positivity. You can choose to be a catalyst for kindness, empathy, and understanding. It's about consciously deciding to show up as the best version of yourself every single day. Think about it for a moment. What if you chose to approach each day with an open heart and an open mind? What if you chose to listen with empathy, to speak with kindness, to act with integrity? What if you chose to make positivity, love, and light your guiding principles? Imagine the ripples of change you could create. Imagine the impact you could have. It's not about changing the world in a day. It's about making small, consistent changes in how you show up in the world. And those small changes, they add up. They create a wave of positivity, a wave of change that can truly make a difference. So here is the call to action. Choose to be your best self. Choose to show up in the world with love, with positivity, with light. Choose to be a force for good, a beacon of hope. Choose to make your actions count. Choose to make a difference. And remember, it's not just about how you show up in the world, it's about how you inspire others to do the same. It's about creating a ripple effect of positivity, a ripple effect of change. Remember, how you show up in the world matters. Make it count. Thank you for watching. I am very grateful you watched this far. Please consider visiting our website and subscribe to our mailing list to stay up to date with what we are up to here at Meaningful Pursuits. Also, please follow us on social media. Links in the description.